I found myself once more in the Nosgoth I knew. The carnage from battle was gone. Yet there was something amiss. From the distance, I heard cries, and a breeze from the south carried with it the faint odor of vampire blood.
Welcome back. We are in the very end game. We are in the very last video. We're in the end of the story. And now we shall go south and find out what is it that is up with the scent of the vampire blood.
Twould seem the folly fell upon my own shoulders. With their sainted King William dead by my hand, the people of the land were consumed by a hunger all their own, for vampire blood.
I have no intention of fighting most of the people here because it is just a waste of time. We have a goal here, and that is to get rid of Mobius. And we are moving towards that goal. Except when we're not.
Ve Victus!
Although part of it is the fact that it would feel wrong not to actually kill them. And it'll become clear why in a second.
As I wandered about more, the shrieking and cheering became more apparent and defined. There was some sort of gathering to the south, for with each cheer I smelled an outpour of blood.
Ve Victus!
I make no pretense to justify my killing, yet these vampire hunters would cloak their bloodlust beneath a veil of righteousness. Hypocrites! They would make themselves judge and jury. Very well then, let us see how they take to my role as executioner.
You know it's great delivery when it makes me angry.
Ve Victus!
So we are now after the leader of the Mobius' mob, which is Mobius, surprise. And before we get there, or rather as we're going there, there's one thing that I think should be clarified, and it's the fact that what is going on now, how are these machinations of Mobius relevant to the story, not the overall plotline of the Legacy of Kain series, but specifically to Blood Omen. And this is connected to the fact that some of the motivations of Mobius were retconned in the future series, in the future games, I'm sorry. And as far as Blood Omen is concerned, Mobius is just a half-crazy, wacko sorcerer who really freaking hates vampires. And basically everything that Mobius does here is out of his insanity, multiplying his hatred of vampires. And all this plot was essentially, by Mobius, all this plot had only one purpose, that was to eradicate the vampires. This is all as far as Blood Omen is concerned. I am not going to delve into the everything else, because that is spoilage for the future of the series. And now let's get in.
Unholy scourge! Not yet, my friend. Would you be free of the plague if only one city was cleansed? No! No! Would you spare one wolf in the pack that has devastated your herd? No! No! Then let us destroy them all! Yeah! He is the last! Destroy him!
The people will not rest until Nosgoth is purged of your kind.
I had been
Save
betrayed.
Victus!
In my haste, I had not realized it before. That sigil on his forehead, the Oracle of Nosgoth, was in fact the time streamer Mobius, and I had followed his advice. How much of my quest was of his design? Willendorf? The Battle of the Last Stand? William the Just? Was this the trap he had fashioned for me?
We will send you back to the grave, whence you came, vampire. I have seen the future, Kain. You are not in it.
How much of Kain's quest was orchestrated by Mobius and how much was orchestrated by other characters is something that is unclear as of yet and will be answered later in the game. Not in the game, in the series. Right now, all what we have to do is move from one area to the other, close in on Mobius, and
Let us call upon the puppets from the past.
kill whatever he spawns,
Spawn, the axe,
or
flame sword.
summons rather, from a different era. Afterwards, we have to we have to close in on Mobius again, and the exit will be open.
From the present.
Save Victus!
Now, this soldier doesn't usually take that many hits, he's usually not that strong, and I'm honestly not sure what exactly is going on here. This last time in my practice run,
Flame sword.
it took a lot less than that to get rid of him.
Save Victus! Save Victus! Save Victus!
Flame sword. The soul reaver. The flesh flame sword.
You could hear the anger in Kain's voice about being manipulated all along. And this is really what is going to define everything that happens with Kain, everything that he does later in the series.
The soul flame sword.
Save Victus!
Flame sword. The soul reaver.
And now we're in for an interesting one.
And from ages yet to come.
Mobius's projectiles just slow Kain down. They do not damage, but they make Kain go as slow as a snail.
The axes. The soul reaver.
Bam, it's Kain from the future with an axe. Now, one interesting thing is, notice how he's teleporting from one place to the other. Yes, Kain in future will be able to teleport. And yes, he will have this ability in the future
The
games.
soul reaver.
And now, to get Mobius himself.
Ironic. By going back in time and altering the past, you turned William the Just into the Nemesis. Aye, you have seen my plan, vampire, as I've seen your destiny. The future says you die. But I am dead. as are you.
I knew that Mobius's hourglass was the focus of his time-streaming magic. Farewell, sorcerer. The sands of time have ceased to flow for you.
Well done, Kain. Mobius did so love playing the trickster's part. His guise as the Oracle served his schemes well. Pity with all his plots he failed to plan for you. Come to me, my undead son. Make haste to the pillars. The stage is set for the grand finale. You will have your vengeance.
You betrayed us, Mortanius. You had Kain killed and turned him into a monster. You set him upon us.
It had to be. Nopraptor's insanity poisoned all of our minds. The Circle had failed in its sworn duties. It had to be destroyed.
Failed our duties? Idiot! The Circle exists for us. We don't exist for it. Our powers will save or damn Nosgoth at our whim. Stand with us, Mortanius, or die.
Then I shall die.
If the Circle is to be destroyed, you have to die as well, Necromancer. I admire your cunning, but you will not escape your fate.
Nay, I will embrace it. But my death will leave one more to take, Princeling. Finish me!
And so, now we will kill Mortanius, the final member of the Circle, or is he? Still, this fight is not that much of a trouble. All we have to do is kill everything around Mortanius, kill all the undead warriors, and then just approach Mortanius and hit him with a sword.
Flames the Soul Reaver.
However, Soul Reaver is recommended because as any other boss, he is very fat. However, why on earth, if he embraces death, did he not actually embrace death and just either kill him himself or let Kain do it without any issue? Something is not right here, isn't it?
Blood Shower, Flame Sword, the Soul Reaver.
You thought yourself a king, when in fact you were a pawn. You have served me well, Kain.
I serve no one!
Indeed, such narrow vision. Don't you see? My silencing of Ariel and its calculated repercussions is but the first act in my theater of Grand Guignol, of which you are the tragic hero. Play on, little vampire. Play on.
Ve Victus!
Anacroth's magic was contained within the metal of the scales and would eventually be released back into the pillar from whence it came. The scales of Anacroth I lay before the Pillar of States. The pillar accepted its offering. Thus, it was restored. The death orb of Mortanius had given the necromancer dominion over the grave. I had thought him the last of the circle, and yet he spoke of another. Before the pillar of death, I lay the orb of Mortanius. The pillar accepted its offering. Thus, it was restored.
Ariel warned us, beware the unspoken.
The soul flame sword.
This is because Mortanius was possessed by the
Flames of the
unspoken.
soul reaver.
And this is the final fight in the game. In terms of mechanics, the key is to not move diagonally like I do here. And this is it.
I am the last pillar, the only survivor of the Circle of Nine. At my whim, the world will be healed or damned. At my whim.
And this is it. It is upon Kain now to either choose Oblivion or to choose God, the status of God. It's time to determine what is the legacy of Kain. Let's save Nosgoth.
In his life, he was unknown, a petty noble. In death, he was unknown. Yet by choosing oblivion, he restored balance to the land. Shades cast no shadows.
Wait, Oblivion? Something's not right here. Kain has been manipulated by pretty much everyone. An unwilling pawn. Kain was pretty angry by the end of his journey. So I think that this is not how it should go. Besides, we all know what really happens. Kain refused the sacrifice.
Once I embraced my powers, I realized that Vorador was correct. We are gods. Dark gods. And it is our duty to thin the herd.
There we go, much better. And thus we set the stage for the events that are about to unravel in the remaining games of the Legacy of Kain series, and this is how it all started 20 years ago. So, what can I say about the game? Well, really everything that can be said has already been said long ago. Incredibly long and dull gameplay, but the story is extremely engaging, even if it's sometimes confusing due to the way the cutscenes are located in the due to the configuration of cutscenes. And other than that, there's really nothing else to say about this game, because really most of the events, they really unravel in the future games. And as such, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time in Soul Reaver. Goodbye.
You are lost beyond all hope. You cannot receive my planet, for I have so shut you out. What will become of? I see only damnation. lost beyond all hope. You cannot see my plight, for you have so shut your eyes. What will become of our love? I see only
God be God!